Speakers, it's clear this NDP Liberal Prime Minister is not worth the cost. And it's not just grocery prices that have skyrocketed in the last year. It's Jamaican vacations too, Mr. Speaker. The tab for the Prime Minister's trip this year came in at over $230,000, an increase of 42%. And of course, while Canadians have to pay higher prices themselves, he gets to pass his bill on to taxpayers. And now they have to pay the bill for his high carbon hypocrisy and the 23% tax hike that is coming. He's refused to cancel the hike. Will he at least let Canadians decide for themselves and call a carbon tax election?
Yeah. 230 grand. What, did he stay there the whole year? I'm pretty sure you can even stay there the whole year for less.
Top end of question period. I'm going to ask a member from
Holy
Timmins
shit.
James Bay to please keep his comments to himself until the moment that he has the mic to the floor. The Honourable Minister for Innovation.
Mr. Speaker, the leader of the Conservative Party has become the CIO of Canada, the Chief Inaction Officer, Mr. Speaker. What he's advocating on this side of the House is inaction on climate change. It's an action on clean growth. It's an action on green jobs, Mr. Speaker.
Sit
on
down,
this side of the House
champagne.
and millions of Canadians, we believe in action. Action against climate change.
Down.
Actions to build the economy of tomorrow.
He's so short, man.
Actions
I
to
think he's
build
like
the jobs of tomorrow,
5
Mr. Speaker.
foot,
We're
or
going
like
to fight
5'1"
climate
or something.
change and make sure that we bring more money in the pocket of Canadians. That's our plan.
Okay.
Again, I'm going to ask members to be very careful about ascribing acronyms or names to other honourable members. The honourable member from Regina Capel.
Action they've taken is forcing Canadians to food banks for the first time in their lives. It's forcing Canadians to turn down thermostats and put food back on the shelf because they can't afford it. Meanwhile, their environment plan has been revealed to just be a tax plan because they've fallen 4 spots in the climate change ranking after raising the carbon tax, and their own environment commissioner has said they've stacked failure on top of failure. But they have succeeded in driving up prices. Will they do the right thing and let Canadians decide for themselves and call a carbon tax election?
The Honourable Minister for Rural Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, our carbon rebate puts more money in the hands of 8 out of 10 Canadians. And just this morning, Mr. Speaker, I had a call from Keith in my riding. He's retired, and he's been keeping track of all his invoices since January the 1st. And he was delighted to tell me that even with adding a little extra, because he might have known the impact on this morning orange, that he is ahead $68 every single climate action rebate check. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member from Regina Capel.
That is just false. Their own budget watchdog, the parliamentary budget officer that they appointed, testified at committee and said the following. Once you factor in the rebate, but also the economic impacts, the majority of households will see a negative impact as a result of the carbon tax. In Newfoundland, hardworking middle-income families will be $377 poorer after the carbon tax and the rebate is factored in. So, will they show the courage and put their plan to quadruple the tax in front of Canadians, and Canadians can have the choice between that and our plan to axe the tax?
The Honourable Minister for Rural Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I love to get up to talk about my province of Newfoundland and Labrador and how the carbon rebate is putting more money back into the pockets. With the rural top-up, Mr. Speaker, in April 15th, the average family of 4 in my riding all throughout Newfoundland and Labrador outside of St. John's will be getting $1,430 a year to offset prices. And, Mr. Speaker, we've got another benefit. Another lady in my riding, Katie, applied for the oil to heat pump program, which is going to save her $800 a year as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Mégantic-Clérable. Mr. Speaker, after 8 years as Prime Minister is simply not worth the support he receives from the Bloc Québécois. How can the Bloc Québécois support a Prime Minister who has doubled our national debt? How can the Bloc Québécois support a Prime Minister who has doubled the cost of housing for Quebecers? How can the Bloc Québécois support a Prime Minister who has forced hundreds of thousands of Quebecers to food banks? My question to the Prime Minister, what did he promise to the Bloc to save his career and his government?